In 1968, when Lyndon Johnson withdrew, I remember the date, March 31st, 1968, and Hubert Humphrey, his vice president, became the Democratic nominee. And Humphrey lost the election because of Lyndon Johnson's policy on the Vietnam War. So, fast forward to now, how does Kamala Harris avert the Hubert Humphrey problem that he had way back in the day?
This is a very different scenario. The critique on Biden, and I think there's great affection and love for Joe Biden. And you saw it now, by the way, the minute he announced he wasn't running again, his popularity numbers jumped up. It wasn't so much he made an error, like the Vietnam War was an error that was hung around Humphrey's neck. It was much more as we like the guy. He's a wonderful person, but is it time to pass the torch? Is he really the right person with the vision and the energy to lead for the next 4 years?
Even if people felt that way about Joe Biden, there are people who have serious concerns about those issues that Harvey mentioned. And at some point, you know that the Republicans are going to lay, and they already have been, laying those concerns about those particular issues on Kamala Harris. So how does she respond to that?
I mean, on inflation, and by the way, inflation is now down, of course, and there was an inflationary period post-pandemic. Mortgage rates are starting to move down. But Donald Trump's policies are more inflationary than anything that Kamala Harris is talking about. On immigration, right? Another complicated issue. We could talk about immigration for hours, but obviously border security, President Biden has taken steps. Frankly, as you know, President Biden, and there's a bipartisan group in the Senate that had a real border security bill that would have locked down the border, probably would have passed if Donald Trump hadn't come out against it. So I think the buzz out there is, hey, does Donald Trump want there to be chaos on the border because he thinks he can ride that to the White House?
One last question before we go, not about politics, but something very important, especially to people in your state. Just curious, favorite ski resort?
Oh, I get a lot of trouble if I were to give a state on that one in my state. But I'll say that I personally ski Vail more often, and our kids love skiing, and we're up there. I don't know, it's not a lot, but probably 5-6 days last year. So hope to top that this year.